Welcome back to another edition of Sitting with an Athletic Director, State of the Programs, and I am here on the campus of Glenwood School, Somerville Road, Phoenix City, Alabama, and I am with the AD and head baseball coach, my good friend, Coach Tim Fanning, who was also my coach back in the day. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, man, thanks for having me. It's always good to get the year started off right.
Coach, what we do in these things for those who are, again, didn't see Calvin Thomas's or any of the ones coming up in the near future, what is Sitting with that Athletic Director, State of the Programs? We're going to go to every single sport, recap what happened this past year, and talk about who's leading them this upcoming year and what are we excited about. But first, Coach, I do want to say you personally, winning your 11th state championship, and you were the biggest advocate of this move to the AHSA. Now we get to have a year in review and recap. Now you've had some time to reflect. What was 2024-2025 like year one of the AHSA?
Well, I think it was, everything we hoped it'd be, to be quite honest. Just from a, logistics standpoint, if we'll just start right there, I mean, we probably spent a third of what we did in previous years and
traveling costs
and travel, you know what I mean? And that's big for a school like ours, you know what I mean? And it wasn't just one sport, it was most of the sports.
Right.
So, I mean, that started with football, and then especially like big schedule sports, it really shows up.
Right.
Football, you only have 10 games, but when you're talking about volleyball and softball and basketball and baseball and, the ones that have 30, or more games,
right.
You know what I mean, that cost really shows up, in a big time way. But being able to play some local schools
yep.
Was tremendous for us. It was tremendous for our fan base, for our local alumni, people who never had the opportunity
right.
to do that. I think it was great for our community, to be quite honest. Because you go back 54 years and fast forward to now, a lot of those amazing people who played here that didn't have that chance, their kids go to school here now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it's just and that's what's always been great about Glenwood is I call it a community school because of that, and those people went here and their kids go here and their kids' kids go here. So, I think it was tremendous, to be honest. When we had a measure of success in most of our programs,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like we struggled in anything. So, from on the field or on the court, comparison, we made the playoffs and everything. Football had an undefeated, regular season.
Right.
Volleyball made it to, through 2 rounds. Basketball made it to the playoffs. We did decent in baseball.
Right.
And,
yeah.
I
would say decent, Coach.
But I mean, being able to start bowling team, you
right.
know what I mean? And just something small like that, some people don't think it's a big area, but it's big for us because it just gives us another opportunity for our kids to do something that we couldn't do before.
Right.
So, like I said, it was and I'll say this too, like as far as who we played and the opposing coaches and fan bases and everything like that. I mean, it was, we were welcomed with open arms and,
right.
Everything, facilities were nice, have anything bad to say about it, to be quite honest.
Yeah, Coach, I'm in the same boat. Even the biggest detractors of not wanting to make this move can't say anything when in basketball, both boys and girls finished second in the region, and 2 of their best players get hurt, Braylon Alexander and Haley Palmore. Right. If they don't get hurt, who knows, they're probably region champs. And you had football going undefeated, state championships, soccer teams did really well, volleyball was competitive. Everything that was, is Glenwood going to be able to compete? Right. Are we going to get smoked by all these local schools? Right. None of that happened, and honestly, I really think this is a move that could have been made, a few years earlier, but right. That's neither here nor there. But in the end, though, now that this season has ended, have you been able to talk to parents in the community, and are you getting a overall positive feedback of, man, this was an awesome year to be in the HSA?
For sure. And mostly for me, my contact is with alumni.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just they're so proud regardless if they got to do it, it feels like they got to do it. You know what I mean? And they're so proud of Glenwood and the athletic department and what we were able to accomplish this year. The feedback's been phenomenal.
You as an AD, though, you've been doing this a long time, Coach. You've been really successful at it. But I just feel like you got this newfound energy. And I don't know if it's from all making this move, knowing that it was going to be a transition. It's a new challenge for you. But it just seemed like you were having fun this year, Coach. What was it you personally, why you enjoyed this past season?
Well, I mean, kind of like what we hit on before is like going to new places, meeting new people, and just, not being the status quo. Like, you know, it had gotten to the point in the AISA, and this is, not necessarily, it's not the fault of the AISA, but us and Lee Scott, playing in or against
in every sport, Coach.
In every sport for state championship is not, it's not good for either, for the AISA or us or Lee Scott. So I just think that was a renewed sense of energy just from that, just from it being different, and being able to represent those 54 years of, boys and girls at the time. They're men and women now, obviously, but that I cannot say how important that was. I can't overstate that. That is like, it was a big deal from the start to the finish, and I hope that we did them proud, and I hope they know how important that was to us. And it wasn't something we hid from. We talked about. We hit it head on, and it was a big deal. It was a big deal to us. So that was probably the biggest thing, is really wanting to make our alumni proud of where they went to school and what we were able to just show the community for them. You know what I mean? 100%. And because they never got that opportunity, yourself included.
I was about to say, as a former alumni, I had gratification this past year, especially in baseball, playing former schools. And I got to say, being able to play Central, I got to bring that up, Coach, because it's 15 minutes away. This is it's a rival, but not a rival, because obviously they're a bigger school. But playing them in volleyball for the first time ever in any sport earlier this year, having the opportunity to play them in baseball, all the great past players from both schools would have loved an opportunity to be able to do that, Coach. And that right there, being able to play Central, Smith Station, it was nice this year. And not in every sport, but in the majority of the sports. And I know the alumni really appreciate that more than anything. And it just gives them some credibility in things that they've heard over the years of, y'all don't play anybody. Yeah, they're good, but they don't play anybody. Yeah, they're good, but they don't play anybody. You don't want to go to that school because they don't play anybody. You know what I mean? So, and everyone's heard it forever, and I get reminded about it. Coach Stillwell and Coach Willis and all those guys that are on our staff that help us. I get reminded about it all the time. They reminded me less this year. You know what I mean? Because we were able to play. You know what I mean? And it's not really, and I've told you this before, it's not really about the winning part of it. Like, yes, you want to win, you compete to win, but it's just having the opportunity to do it. Are we going to win every single time we play them? Absolutely not. That's not going to happen. Okay, but that's not reality. But just having the opportunity to showcase our young men and women in this community, and then, we talked about it earlier, and being home 10 minutes later. You know what I mean? And not getting home at midnight. You know what I mean? So that was a big thing too, is, we didn't miss very much school, and we didn't have to check out, and we didn't have to do any of that stuff. We didn't get back late and all those things. So, it just far as, quality of life for a student athlete, it's better. 100%.
It's better.
100%, Coach, and we thoroughly enjoyed seeing all the benefits and the success this year. I think many people underestimated, and I think what kicked it off was that Valley Glenwood football game. We're going to start with that sport right after we take this quick break. It's Sitting with Athletic Director, State of the Programs here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
It's a great day for a new Chevrolet from Glenn Smith in Opelika. Take to the road in a rugged new full-size Chevy Silverado with discounts up to $12,500 off MSRP. Or plug into the future with the innovative Chevy Blazer EV. Lease yours today for just $299 a month. That's right, just $299 a month. People from all over the USA are coming to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Get ready to drive and get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone. Sitting with an athletic director, State of the Programs, Thirft Barringer, Coach Tim Fenning, head baseball coach and athletic director here at Glenwood School. We talked about the first year in the AHSA and football. What a year, man. Finish undefeated. Obviously didn't have the finish you wanted, but in the regular season, putting everyone on notice to finish undefeated. And I think it started really the whole year. Me and you talked about it. That Valley game, down 20-0. The comeback, I mean, it was the most incredible comeback, and it really, I think it kind of set the tone for the rest of the year. Like, hey, we can actually compete. We can play with these guys. So talk about the football program and how they did, led under Coach Ryan Nelson.
You're right. That was, halftime, I was like, I knew it was still the right decision, right? But I'm sure there was a lot of people like, hey, I told y'all, it's 20-0, but but that was kind of a microcosm of the year. The kids, I think you're right. They built on that, and it gave them a lot of momentum and confidence going forward. And it was a special season. And like you said, I hate that it ended the way it did. And but that's why you play athletics. And if you don't bring your A game, especially making the transition to the AHSA, I mean, the teams that you are going to play consistently are better because there's more of them.
Right.
And you know what I mean? So you have to bring it in the playoffs no matter what round it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I hate that. But, Coach Nelson does a phenomenal job. I wouldn't expect us to take a big drop off or anything like that. I mean, they're already getting after it this summer.
Yep.
And we have the same schedule as last year, just reverse it, basically, home and away. I mean, we're looking forward to it. I know that everyone's excited about it. I mean, as excited as somebody can get practicing 95-degree weather.
Right.
Say practicing, they're just lifting and training right now. But it's always just football season. It just kicks off the year, and everybody's so excited about it. And we're gonna have to go to Valley to start off the season, and it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
I can't wait for it, Coach. And I will say that one of the biggest stories of last year's football season, obviously, was Glenwood moving into the new league, Calvary moving into the new league, and of course some of the other nuances with the other teams too. But Glenwood finishing undefeated. Pretty much one of the biggest stories of the year last year. So now Coach Nelson, now knowing what the league is like and stuff, do you think next year he's going to be more equipped and prepared, knowing what Valley, what Beulah, what some of these schools represent, and what their coaches do?
Well, sure. I definitely think once you've been down that road, you kind of know what to expect, how teams play, especially like their offensive, defensive schemes and things like that, and speed of the game, and what kind of athletes they have. So, that's one thing. Coach Nelson's not going to get caught off guard when it comes to that. I mean, he's got a great staff, and they're going to get after it in the film room and make sure that our kids are ready. And I have no doubt that we will be. But it's always exciting, you lose a senior quarterback and an All-American wide receiver might be a draft pick. I mean, like, there's a lot of really good players that we lost, but that's a testament of your program. Is okay. Well, just because you had a great class last year doesn't mean you shouldn't win the next year. So, that's always what excites me is the next group of kids that are going to come up, put the work in, and represent the school the right way and get after it on the field. And I expect that out of the football team as well.
We'll talk about that senior class 2025 here in a moment because they had a lot of burden, a lot of pressure on their shoulders for every single sport going into this year. We'll talk about that in just a second. But my final thing with football with Coach Nelson, you got to share athletes, man. I was talking about how summer, what's the plan, do spring practice. It's hard to do that because a lot of his players play baseball. We're in the midst of a playoff run. But how important is it for all the coaches to be on the same page, especially last year, going into a new league, knowing we're going to be sharing athletes like we do in the past, but it's going to be against maybe a little bit stiffer competition. We got to be on the same page, and it seemed like everybody was.
Yeah, it takes some sacrifice. It takes you, biting your lip probably sometimes. I mean, because you're a coach, you want the kids that you're going to play with, right? And it's the same way coming into, baseball season for me as a baseball coach, waiting on guys from basketball, right? And but there are a lot of baseball players that play football as well, and so it's tough, and you just got to know going into. But I also think that's also what creates a lot of passion for our athletes at this school, because it means a lot to them. It means a lot that all the sports do great, because a lot of our kids play multiple sports, and it matters to them that Glenwood is the best it can be at every sport that we have. You know what I mean? And in a school our size, I've said that we got a 7A program and a 1A staff. We have all these teams pretty much that all these big schools have, but we don't have as many kids, and we don't have as many coaches or teachers or whatever. So you have to figure out that formula, and we've done a decent job of that over the years, and to be quite honest, we've done a great job of sharing athletes. And this school would not survive without it. It never has. And plus, I'll be quite honest, I think it makes better athletes.
I completely agree, Coach.
When they play multiple sports. And if you talk to pro scouts, if you talk to college coaches, which I deal with all the time, they love multi-sport athletes.
No doubt.
And it is to every single one of them. I've never had a college coach or a pro scout tell me they want a baseball-only guy, or a football-only guy, or a basketball-only guy. Not one.
They want an athlete. They want a guy that can be able to adapt. But Coach Nelson, unbelievable year last year, going undefeated in the regular season. I expect great things. He has been a godsend for the football program and sustained success, Coach. You know this with your – it's easy to win one year. It's hard to consistently do it every year, year in, year out. And I expect big things here for 2025. Let's talk about some other fall sports, including cross country. Who leads that program, Coach?
Well, it'll be Allie Cadenhead. We hired her. Actually, her husband played for me. Tyler Cadenhead.
She was at CSU too.
That's right. Yep. Coaches. He coaches at Jordan. He was a phenomenal football and baseball player here. Had a great career at CSU, and their little son is starting school here, and so she's going to be doing that. Bobby Bankston retired, and she had been coaching that last couple of years, and she's going home. She wants to stay at home and be a grandma, now, and so I hate losing her because she's awesome, and but Allie will do a great job, and with cross country, and then Coach Hutchinson, Mandy, she's obviously back with cheer, and trying to repeat, because they won a state championship.
We cannot forget that. They were another state champion last year.
That's right. And so new group of girls, same expectation. Lauren Davis has taken over our JV program. She also coaches our tennis, and which had a state champion as well. That's and then Coach Strength, she does what she does all the time. They're always ready. They're always good. And she's super excited about this group that's coming through in our school right now. Some of these, we've had a lot of really good young female athletes, and they're starting to become older, and you know what I mean? And I think you're going to see a difference on the court and on the field, like with softball, same way. A lot of our girl athletes have been young for a few years, so
no doubt.
we're excited about that, and excited about what volleyball is going to be able to do this fall.
I'll tell you, for one, cross-country athletes, I commend anyone that wants to run in 95-degree weather in August, man, for long periods of time. So can't wait to see Allie Cadenhead leading that cheer. I will never say it's not a sport. It is most definitely a sport. It sets a tone for Friday nights, but it's also a sport in itself. And we got to say championship-winning program here that Coach Hutchinson's done a great job. And then volleyball, what a job by Coach Strength last year in the new league. Young talent, and I never called any volleyball games, Coach, ever in my life. Didn't go to many either. And then this past year was able to call some state championship, called that Glenwood Central one. For one, it's electric. It's fun. There's trash talking. It's everything I love about sports, man. So trust me, if you've never been to a volleyball game, you need to come out and support those Lady Gators. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk winter sports here. We're sitting with the athletic director, State of the Programs on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Even though I'm away at college, Kinetic Credit Union is still the best way for me to stay connected here and at home. With the Kinetic mobile app, I have control of my accounts wherever I go. I can easily transfer money between internal and external accounts, get money faster by setting up recurring transfers, and I can find the nearest ATM or branch right from my phone. Plus, I can add my Kinetic cards to my phone's digital wallet and enjoy quick, secure, contactless payments. By the way, Mom, I need some more money.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
Welcome back here to Sitting with the Athletic Director, State of the Programs. We're at home for the Gators here in the baseball locker room, which we did all the coaches show last year for baseball season and had a lot of fun doing it, Coach. All right, let's go to winter sports, and let's start with bowling. This is a new sport that we started last year. You were super excited about starting it, Coach. How did year one go, and who's leading it, and how you look forward? Are you looking forward to year two?
Well, I mean, it was cool. I got to go to a few of them, and it's actually really exciting. You go to a bowling alley, and it's fast. It's music's playing. You can get you some refreshments, whatever you want to do, and watch them bowl. And our region is kind of, they got to go all the way up to Winterboro, which is like Talladega and that area, and we have Beauregard in there, and they played Horseshoe Bend, Benjamin Russell. I mean, they got to do a little bit of traveling, and Duncan Thompson Sr. is the coach, and Duncan Thompson Jr. is our #1 bowler. So thank you, Mr. Thompson. I appreciate it for actually being able to do that. And Duncan was actually one of our managers in baseball and traveled with us the entire time, and was awesome to be around. It was really cool watching them, and they did win some matches, and I think they're really looking forward to this year challenging for our region championship. So Beauregard, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and Coach Thompson might disagree with this, but I think Beauregard's the team to beat in our region. I know they were last year. I don't know if they are this year, but I think it was super exciting and got some. And our goal is to get enough to have a boys and girls team. We had some girls, but if you don't have enough for an entire team, then you have to play as a boys team. It's co-ed, but in playoffs and things like that, you have to play as a boys team. So that's our goal, is to keep growing the program where we have both. And
where are they practicing at? Where were they able to practice and stuff this past
They did a lot in Auburn, and they do it in Columbus as well.
The Bolero bowling links, awesome, man. Well, I think this is cool.
So looking forward to hosting some of those this year, and it being our first year, we didn't want to do that and get into that, but hopefully this year Coach Thompson will be able to set up that, and we'll be able to host some.
Maybe we can even make an appearance and stream a bowling match. Hey, listen,
I'll tell you, it's cool.
We'll be indoors. We won't have to worry too bad about setup. We just put it right behind the bowling lane. I mean, come on. We may be able to do this, Coach, especially if you're going to be hosting one.
Pretty cool.
Esports, who is leading that program?
Skylar Baxley. He's also our band director.
Yep.
And he said that it went pretty good to start with. I did know we won our first match because the other team couldn't get their internet up, and so we won by forfeit. But no, it said it went good. I mean, there again, it's a new sport. It's trying to grow it and everything, and get some cool jerseys. And all that
exactly.
Stuff, so I mean,
feel like athletes.
Absolutely. So I mean, I'm just excited. There again, it's just another avenue to give our kids, boys and girls, more opportunities to be here, because that's why we're here, is to try to create the most well-rounded environment we can, educationally and extracurricular. Right. So that just gives us another opportunity, and I know nothing about video games, so I'm so glad that he was able to do that too. And
right.
and honestly, if there would have been some baseball players and football players, and there would have been several guys, if they weren't playing other sports in the spring, that would have been trying to do it.
Right.
Because they're actually games that, all the kids know how to play. So.
Right.
Yeah.
No doubt. I'm glad that you brought up Mr. Baxley, because the band is also a big part
right.
of Friday nights, and I think
right.
he does an amazing job with the band.
Does.
So I'm glad you brought him up and what they were able to do last year, Coach.
Right. No, and he's always constantly trying to grow, and he works it all the way from the elementary school all the way up.
Awesome.
And he's a great asset to our school. He really is. And he even said he wants to come out and throw BP someday.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah,
man.
that'd be cool.
That'd be awesome.
He's got a really cool beard.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Beard.
Spring, that's where we're heading right now, and this is where predominantly all the sports get played. It seems like there's 6 of them going on, and that does include some of the sports having a boys and a girls team, Coach. Right. So let's first start with track and field. Who led the program last year? How did they do, and who's leading it this year?
Well, we did have 2 or 3 guys that qualified for state and field events, and that was Anna Andrews and Coach Webb. And
awesome.
Unfortunately, we lost Anna. Her and her mother took jobs at Springwood, which they're from the Valley.
Right.
We understand that. And but Coach Webb, and then we're working to hire someone else to help him. With that.
Right.
And so I've talked to some people I'm really excited about. So we're looking forward to track. Coach Webb's really good. He's so good at speed training and things like that. It's a big part of what he does with our football team as
awesome.
well. And we're looking forward to track. I mean, hopefully they can build on that and continue to grow that program. And it's first time we ever thrown the javelin before.
Right.
Because ASA doesn't have the javelin. So that was a little, when I bought those things and they came in and everybody's like, can I throw it? I'm like, no, you can't throw it.
Right.
Like, it's like, get that away from me. I don't, so luckily Coach Dunbar, he knows that. He's trained in doing it. And, so he's the only one that, trains the kids with the javelin. So, so hopefully track and field will be well on its way to competing at the state level.
Love it. Tennis, who's leading that program, Coach?
Lauren Davis again, hopefully. Yeah, she is. They did well. The girls team had a good season, and we had a state champion. We had a couple played in state championships.
Awesome.
So they did a great job, and that was her first year doing it, but actually another one of my former students, and she's very organized and capable of whatever you ask her to do, and for her to just be open to helping,
right.
You know what I mean? That says a lot about her character, in my opinion. She just wants to do whatever she can to help the school.
Well, what it says a lot about my character is the fact that we just skipped over basketball and winter sports, and Coach Fed is looking at me like, what is happening right now? Because I'm looking at my list. I wanted to save it for last, and then I go, and I'm like already heading to spring. So we'll put a pause on spring. We talked about tennis and track and field.
Yeah, right,
let's go back to winter,
right.
And let's talk about Coach Dusty Perdue, who Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer like yourself, which we're going to talk about that in a moment, Coach. But Coach Perdue, in year one, I thought did a really good job, had to overcome with injuries. Both teams came second in the region. And if they didn't have the injuries, I'm going to be honest, I think they would have won the region, in my opinion. And then, who knows, when you get that, you may have gotten the draw Lee Scott got and pulled off a couple wins instead of having to go play the #1 team in the entire state, both boys and girls did. But talk about what Coach Perdue means to this school and what he did last year in his first year in the AHSA.
Well, I mean, it's just that consistency, you know what I mean? You know what you're going to get, and there again, he lost some seniors that that you got to replace. But there again, I think we have some good young talent, and I think he's excited about that. I think there's probably been some more participation in the girls side of it from what I've seen. He's been able to bring in some more coaches that are wanting to get involved and,
Right.
and help expand our programs and have more coaching and things like that. So I know he's excited about what's coming up. And I mean, when you got some good players, and,
Yeah.
you know, Braylon's really good.
He's best 8th grader in the city by far
He's-
last year, Coach.
He's really good, and obviously, but you got and like you said, you know, Hallie getting hurt. Like, I can't wait to see her back on the court.
100%.
You know what I
Braylon got
mean?
hurt last
Right.
year. Think about what that
Right.
would have meant.
Right, for sure. And they're two you know, mainstays in our basketball program, and we definitely can't wait to see them back on the basketball court.
Yeah,
in the
100%.
wintertime.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw them, both of them actually, in summer team camp at CSU.
Right, right.
Again, Coach Purdue's team, they did lose, but they got a lot of young, promising talent.
Right.
They look like they're being coachable. And if you're going to get out all the bad experiences, get it out in
Right.
summertime. That's the
Right.
reason you play all those games,
Right,
Coach, and do the
absolutely.
team camps.
Yep.
And so you can find out, get game action, and then move forward. So I'm excited about what this upcoming year is. How many years now has Coach Purdue been there in total? It's over 20, right?
Yeah, I think it's 21.
Holy
I think
smoke.
21.
And how about yourself? How long you been there?
This will be 20. Well, it's been 26. This will be 27. So I can't remember. He might be 22 and I'm 27. I can't remember if it was 5 or 6 years difference in when I brought him on as a basketball coach. I don't know. He's 21 or 22. It's a long time.
Well, I'll tell you
Yes.
what, he's been one of your best hires. 'Cause
Yes.
He's got a lot of state championship
sure,
and
for
done
sure.
a great job. So.
And there again, it's the consistency and the sacrifice of being here
Right.
with no retirement, no benefits, and all that other things. And it takes a special person to see that benefit and know that God has them in this place at the right time.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that does require sacrifice and not having retirement, things like that. But you know, he made that decision just like I did a long time ago, that as far as quality of life and where you feel like God is calling you to be, you know, you just do that, you
Right.
know, and God's never not taken care of us before, so
Right.
he'll continue to do it.
Yeah, and he's funny, and we appreciate always Coach Purdue. Hopefully he'll try to get back into his PA duties, because Noah Shelton may be doing a lot more Georgia Alabama sports live. So Coach Purdue, come out of retirement. You're going to have to start doing PA stuff. All right, Coach, let's go back to the spring. And we talked about tennis. We talked about track and field. Let's talk about the golf program. And it's funny, I go from basketball to golf because Coach Purdue led the golf program this past year, did a
Right.
great job.
Right.
I know Claire Graham was a sensational golf player, had a great year this year.
Right.
Talk about who's leading that for next year. Is it still going to be Coach Purdue?
Yes, and I think he, you know, likes hanging out at the golf course. You know what I mean? It's not a bad gig for sure.
Right.
And we do have some good returning golfers, and we're gonna miss Claire for sure. And she pretty much dominated the season. I mean, I don't know how many times, if any, she lost to any of the tournaments we went to. It just seemed like every time we posted something, she was low medalist every single time.
Right.
So we're definitely going to miss her from a girl standpoint. But there are a lot of returning golfers, and I know he's probably really excited about the opportunity we have, you know, to compete at the state level, you know, and I think they're very close to that, you know. And
Yeah.
so hopefully, you know, I mean, I can't see them not getting better. You know what I mean? Because the guys that have been in the program have been in the program, and they continually get better.
Right. And he says he's a good job overseeing. You don't give him too much
Right.
instruction.
Right.
He likes
For
overseeing.
For sure.
But that's divots with Dusty, baby.
That's a sport that you definitely go to swing coaches and do all that other stuff.
Right.
Not on this campus.
No,
So,
not here for sure on that.
correct. They do not want our swings or Coach Purdue's.
Yeah,
Either one.
Definitely not mine, because I haven't played a round of golf ever in my life. But it's different.
Yes.
But Coach, softball. You talked about the young talent.
Right.
Now, Coach McConnell, he had an up and down year in terms of learning experience, man,
Right,
because you
right.
got a lot of young talent. But at the end of the year, Glenwood was right in the thick of things of
Right,
maybe winning
right.
a region championship in that region tournament. So talk about his team, and I'm excited about the future of this program, because in the next 3 or 4 years, they're going to be one of the top teams in the state.
I agree. And they did. I mean, it was right there for them at the end of the year. They were
Right.
playing good enough,
Right.
but there again, that youth showed up too at
Right.
the end. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Playing
And
eighth
they were-
graders,
right,
freshmen.
right? And there were, they had a couple girls that were sitting out because they couldn't play,
Right.
because they had transferred in and were sitting out the year and things like that. So, which is fine. I just think he's creating a good culture,
Yep.
and once those girls begin to mature, you're going to see them play a lot more cohesively, and that just takes experience.
Right.
It really does. And I'm excited for them. I think they got a real shot this year. Obviously, a sport like softball, it starts in that dirt circle, and if they can get consistently on the mound and really work defensively, I think they're gonna have a shot to do some great things in their region.
Great things is what your baseball program did. You see the state championship trophy,
Yeah.
which is beautiful. We wanted to make sure it was in prime location for this interview. We're going to talk about that after this break, and we'll have a few more things here on Sitting with the Athletic Director, State of the Program, Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Hi, my name is Griff Gordy, and here at Gordy Eye Care, we have been serving the Bi-City community for 17 years. As a former state championship quarterback, I love the fact that I can watch local high school athletics from the comfort of my own home. So it was a no-brainer to support Georgia Alabama Sports Live and what they do for young athletes in our area.
And without business like yourself, Gordy Eye Care, none of our coverage would be possible. To be able to cover the 16 different high schools, the local colleges, and professional teams. So we'd like to say thank you to you, Dr. Griff Gordy and Gordy Eye Care, for your support of Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And you can make an appointment today at Gordy Eye Care with the number 334-291-5125. Keep supporting Gordy Eye Care and keep watching Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Welcome back, everyone, to Sitting with an Athletic Director, State of the Programs here at Glenwood. And I'm with head coach Tim Fetting. It's baseball time. We saved I will say, I don't know if the best for last because other coaches are going to get offended, but they did win a state championship this year, Coach. And I'm holding up a proclamation was signed by Mayor Eddie Lowe and winning the state championship.
Yeah.
Pretty big deal, Coach.
Yeah.
Year one, we'll start with this. You played Central in the first game of the season. And that game for this community, I call it the Battle of Phoenix City, was one of the best baseball games and atmospheres I've been at in a baseball game, Coach. From that moment to when you got done at Jacksonville State as state champion, what was this year like for you, baseball coach-wise?
It's kind of one of those things where when you want something for so long and you visualize it happening, right? You have to try to stay in the moment and not let that affect how you go about business, right? Because, now that the season's over, you look back, I had a lot of fun. It was
Right.
a lot of fun,
Right.
but you can't, at the time, you can't really show that emotion. You have to stay as even-keeled as possible because that's what baseball is predicated on, is not getting too high or too low because it's such a game of failure. So you have to do that as a coach as well. So, maybe secretly I was giddy, or on the inside at times, just wanting to scream. And that's what I share with the kids. I say, you think I don't want to scream top of my lungs,
Right.
when y'all play this good and we beat certain teams and things like that, but you just can't do that. You got to play as evenly keeled as possible and just play against the game and not the opponent. But it was amazing. It was a great year, and I'm so happy for those kids because all those kids have been here a long time.
Yeah.
They have played together a lot. They have not lost basically because the same ones, those seniors, they won the JV state tournament the 2 years prior to becoming on varsity too.
Right.
So those kids have won 5 straight years. They don't know losing. They don't lose, So
Right.
at some point you got to give people props, and a lot of it is not just great baseball, but it's great team chemistry too.
100%.
And the synergy on the team was phenomenal. And we touched on it earlier, just being able to drive down the street 5 miles this way and 5 miles that way, and
Right.
it was awesome. And for me personally, being able to play in Columbus,
So I
play
say play
in
Columbus High
and Harris County
on that historic
and
field.
Northside, right?
Come on now.
Yeah, I know, it was pretty awesome. So and there again, I've said it a ton of times. I just thank all the local coaches for allowing us to be able to be a part of their season,
right?
And thankfully, already, pretty much solidified all those, teams for next year too.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? Still playing them. So, I just think it's great for the community. But it was a phenomenal season. We, we took our lumps in the LaGrange tournament, which coming into it, I kind of figured we would, just because we had 8 games in the first week, and
right.
3 of our best arms were just coming out of basketball and all that, and we had to play some young guys and play some guys out of position. We had a few injuries, so we took it on the chin. But the last 31 games, man, it was a lot of fun, because we didn't do much losing, and we weren't behind very much.
No.
And when we were, the kids found a way to come back and win.
Coach, to only lose 1 playoff game the
Right.
entire year this year,
Right.
which is pretty incredible, going on the road to Prattville. And I'll say it, Coach won't. There's a lot of trash talking going on for coaches outside of this area in this state. That's that little Glenwood school. Yeah, they're good, but they play in the AISA. Yeah, Coach Brandon's got a decent program. They send guys to college, but it's still there in the AISA. That is done now, because you really put the entire state on notice. But, Coach, that's a lot of pressure for kids, knowing that going into this year, all the alumni, everyone saying, hey, go out and prove that we've had a dominant program for 15 years, even though that's not what you were setting out to do this year, Coach.
Right.
But in being a human, you know that you were getting to play schools that you've been wanting to for many years. Talk about this senior class, not for just this sport, for all the sports. In this first season, knowing the pressure on them, I think they delivered big time, and it's one of the most successful classes we've had go through here.
I agree totally. And we, since we're talking about baseball, we started, the very first thing we did to start off the baseball season was we had a meeting, and the title was Keeping It Real, and that's what we did. We didn't sugarcoat anything. We didn't hide from it. We embraced it, that pressure for trying to represent 54 years of alumni,
right.
and represent their legacy
right.
within the baseball tradition, and which it's a big one. I mean, they're leaving as 3-peat state champions, and
2 different leagues, Coach.
Right. So I'm so proud of them. They never hid from it, nor did I let them. We were constantly wearing it as a badge of honor, that we show everyone what Glenwood baseball was all about. And those seniors in particular, it meant a lot to them. It meant a lot to them, not what they did individually,
No.
but what the team did,
Great
and
point.
how people saw Glenwood baseball. And I will always be grateful to those young men for putting the program above themselves. And it sure was fun to watch, man. And you got kids like KP Andrews that didn't start last year,
right.
worked his tail off, man, and just came up big time after time after time. And somebody like Logan Henderson that started last year and had a phenomenal year, and he struggled until the playoffs started.
Yes, he did.
And he figured it out, man, and he just went back to being little Logie, man, and just was on base all the time. And then our dudes just drew him in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, turning the lineup over to get to Mason McCrane is as important as anything out of the 9 hitters. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it proved to be magical in that playoff run.
Unbelievable, Coach. And I'll tell you, too, seeing Henderson and KP, who came up huge in that state championship series, honestly, that bottom of the lineup was the biggest factor, especially in that game, too, man. But guys like Levi Pender, Mason McCrane, and Tyler Sykes, I bring them up because they each were 3 contributors. Sykes was an offensive lineman of the year for Sports Visions football. McCrane and Pender were great in basketball, won awards. And then don't even get me started on baseball with their contribution to the team. To do that for each sport, set a standard, and then be leaders for the next future of Glenwood.
right.
That is exactly what you wanted from your guys, and I don't think another class could have taken on this responsibility and followed through the way they did. So, Coach, I know you appreciate them and all you do. So now the next group, they got some big shoes to fill, don't they, Coach?
They do, and you know, we're actually Sunday headed to team camp up at Barry.
I was going to ask, what's the summer plans
this
year?
Yeah, we've had workouts and things, and kids get so scattered during the summer, and plus our guys, they, play a lot of travel ball tournaments and things like that. So we have workouts during the week when they're not at tournaments, but I mean, a bunch of them play football, so they're at football workouts and things like that. So there it goes back to that sharing thing. But that's where that journey starts. You know what I mean? Those next guys that have to step up. We hike to the top of Mount Berry, and seniors give speeches about what Glenwood baseball means to them.
Awesome, man.
And the expectations for the upcoming year, and you move guys around and let them play in different positions and things like that. You just kind of get a feel for, what you're going to have coming up. And, and that's, I'm never going to be that guy that says, man, we lost a lot. That's a dynasty never graduates. And that has nothing to do with me saying we're going to win another state championship next year. It has everything to do with me saying the level of expectation is the same regardless of who is here.
100%.
And seniors like Levi and Mason and Mason, what you were just talking about, they set that standard.
Yeah.
And every year there are guys like that. And that is what makes me proud to be a coach. We're going to have that same thing coming up this year. I mean, the first three that come to mind automatically is Hudson Campbell, Carter Judah, and Cal Lawrence, right?
Yeah.
Because they're all had phenomenal years,
Massive
all
years.
in the middle of the lineup. They're all coming back.
Right.
It's their time to take that on their shoulders. And that's not the only seniors that we have. We actually have a big class, and Mac Blair is a starter from last year. That started all year. That'll be a senior this year. You know what I mean? So it's their time, and it starts at Barry. So, and then, and then we just kind of go from there.
Right.
The standard is the standard.
Right.
Winners win.
Right.
And regardless of what level of expectation you put on that, it's how you go about your business, how you carry yourself, how you act in success, and how you act in failure.
Right.
And that standard will never change. And that's what this senior class upheld to as high a standard it can be.
And I cannot wait for this next senior class. But you rebuild. I mean, you reload, Coach. You don't rebuild, and that's what the standard is for Glenwood baseball. 11 state championship for Coach Fanning. Nothing sweeter though than this last one. I'll tell you that. It's pretty cool, Coach. Last thing I do want to end this with is you got inducted into the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame. You also just got a letter in the mail to be in the Jordan Hall of Fame. What does that mean to you now that? Again, you're nowhere near done from coaching and stuff. You love everything you're doing, but start to get those fruits from all the hard work and labor you put in over the years. How does that make you feel being recognized by your peers as one of the best?
That's code for being old, is that what you're saying? So I will say Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame, it did mean a lot to me because there are so many people in that I grew up admiring and wanting to be like. Coach Nelson, matter of fact, that helps me.
And he was a big help in baseball this year.
You know what I mean? So, but just growing up, I mean, the Coach Howards and Coach Waldron, I mean, all those people and those great athletes that have come through. There's so many great athletes that are in that Hall of Fame as well. But being able to go in with one of my former coaches, a player that I watched play girls basketball that was phenomenal.
Holy smokes.
One of I would say a good friend of mine that I've known since he was, we were 16 years old, and Adam Thomas. Gary Ingram, I grew up admiring, like, and playing against, and we went to the same junior college. Like, I think that really made it really special because knowing everyone in the class and having some connection to them, it was very special for me. And just to be able to stand up there and try to articulate my appreciation for what God has done for me in this Bi-City area and the path that he has allowed me to be on. And I will always be grateful to the city of Columbus and this Chattahoochee Valley area because in my early years and it was a tough struggle, so it took this community that I call my community to help raise me. And if I can in some way justify their gratitude, like by my actions and my hard work, and I hope that all those people that helped me to get to this point through my actions, I hope they know that I am grateful and would not have been able to do that without them. So that's really all I care about, to be honest, is that they understand how grateful I am to have had this opportunity and an amazing life in this community.
And I tell you, as a former player and all the rest of them, this was awesome, Coach, to be able to see you, Coach Drew, getting in last year, to have 2 Hall of Famers on staff. That is pretty unique and pretty incredible, man. Actually, 3 if you want to count Coach Nelson as well. So Ron Nelson too. But man, we've had a lot of fun here, Coach. I know you're excited.
We're just
about
piling them up over here.
I know you just keep getting Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer. Any other big things coming up for this next year you want to kind of let the community know about, or is it same old, we're back to grind?
It is, man. I mean, it is. It's a grind, and the expansion of the school, like we added 2 new classrooms and things like that. That's pretty much almost completed.
The Hall of Fame too, that's coming in.
There's a big first Hall of Fame class coming up this fall,
Can't wait.
which is super exciting. For that. So there is, man. I mean, things are moving around here. The school's busting at the seams. It's a great place to be. Our teachers are amazing. The administrators are amazing. The kids love them, and they want to do what's right for our school and try to do the best they can to represent the Gator Nation. And I'm telling you, if you haven't been up here, come see a game because it's special. It's fun. And no matter what sport it is, it's going to be supported, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And just hope y'all come out and support these boys and girls.
Before you know it, August 22nd, we're going to have football, and then even before that, volleyball is on the horizon too. Coach, can you believe it? We're always in July. Time stops for nobody.
No, it doesn't, man. I swear the summer goes faster than any other time.
Yeah.
Any other time.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the rest of the year, it's a pretty long season. But this past year, Coach, I do want to end it with saying thank you so much for allowing Glenwood Athletics to be on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We can't wait for this upcoming year. We got hundreds of thousands of views for all the Glenwood games we did this year, over 70 games, including the playoff runs, an incredible time. The state championship broadcast alone is already close to 20,000, man. So we really appreciate you allowing us to do this, and we look forward to many more years to come. So thank you so much, Coach.
Oh, man,
and
thank you, bro.
This is Sitting with an Athletic Director, State of the Programs on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We'll see you next time.